This evening, activist Melissa Atwell files transnational complaint against Guyana's government with FBI amid cybercrime charges. Government offers comprehensive assistance to victims of Mahdia Dormitory fire. Guyana prepares to handle monkeypox cases, says Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony. In the region, Mexico's security, surge in violence linked to organized crime, and internationally, drug found to slow Alzheimer's by up to 60% in trial. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for July 18, 2023. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, human rights and political activist Melissa Atwell, also known as Melly Mel, has filed a transnational complaint against the Guyana government with the FBI, accusing them of transnational repression due to cybercrime charges initiated against her. Atwell is facing multiple cybercrime charges filed by the Guyana Police Force. The complaints include a former government minister, a privately owned hospital, and several members of the Guyana Police Force. The human rights and political activist said that she will not be silenced and has taken legal action to guard against repression. She plans to take further legal steps against the Guyanese government to protect the rights of Guyanese who speak out while overseas. Headline News understands that whenever she enters Guyana, she will be arrested as a wanted bulletin is expected to be issued. In a statement to Kaitru News on Monday, Atwell said, quote, "I have assessed the situation. I have concluded that there are moves by the regime to transnationally repress me for my human rights work in view of trying to silence me. As a consequence," Atwell continued, quote, "I have kickstarted several international legal moves to guard against this transnational repression." Atwell founded the You Are Not Alone Foundation and received the Caribbean Impact Award in 2022 in New York. She has emphasized her dedication to helping the underprivileged and expressed her willingness to face the consequences of speaking out against victimization and injustice. The government has been committed to providing every necessary support to the victims and families affected by the tragic Mahdia Dormitory fire. Various forms of assistance have been offered, including medical treatment locally and overseas, transportation, accommodation in Georgetown, payment of funeral expenses, replacement of personal items lost in the fire, and psychosocial support through counseling. Speaking to NCN on Monday, Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Anil Nandlal said financial assistance would be provided to families affected by the Mahdia dorm fire, with transparent agreements signed after receiving independent legal advice.
To ensure that they are able to cope with this disaster so that they can continue to look after the siblings and the survivors of this horrendous tragedy. The requests were various and varying. Some wanted cash, some wanted other items. Rather than the government procure all the different items, Cabinet resolved that a sum of money be paid to each family, those who suffered fatalities and those who suffered serious injuries, and then yet another category of those who may not have suffered so serious injuries.
Minister Nandlal said the families were assured that the financial assistance was not compensation, since such tremendous loss, pain, and suffering endured cannot be compensated.
One can't begin to think that one can put money on the lives of those who perished and those who injured. It would be highly insensitive to even begin to have that kind of discourse. And that is why if you look at the agreement itself, it says expressly that it is an expression of continued financial support, and there is a pledge in there for the government to continue to offer this financial support.
If agreed, each family will receive the sum of $5 million in financial assistance, which constitutes a settlement of all claims and causes of action on account of all injuries resulting in death and not resulting in death that resulted from the fire. Nevertheless, the government assures ongoing support for the victims and their families and pledges to account transparently for all the public expenditures related to this tragedy. Meanwhile, the Attorney General said the government urges everyone to be sensitive and respectful to the victims and their families.
We hope that persons are not going to exploit and abuse this tragedy for their selfish pursuits. We hope that the dignity, the solemnity, and the sacredness which surround this tragedy will be respected, and persons will not be insensitive to the raw wounds of those who are still in pain, anguish, and suffering.
A commission of inquiry will be established as promised by the President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali to review all facts and circumstances surrounding the event. The government's commitment to assisting the victims does not impede the mandate of the intended COI. The comprehensive report on all expenditures will be made public in due course as the process is ongoing. In other news, the Guyana Police Force is investigating two fatal accidents on Monday, July 17, 2023. The first accident happened around 9 p.m. on the Wales Public Road, West Bank, Demerara, resulting in the death of a motorcyclist, Emmanuel Lamazon. Lamazon lost control of his motorcycle, collided with a light pole, and ended up in a nearby trench. Despite efforts by public-spirited individuals and the police to save him, he was pronounced dead upon arrival at the West Demerara Regional Hospital. In the second accident, which took place at approximately 4 p.m. on the Ituni Trail in Region 10, 31-year-old driver Rodwell Peters lost control of an articulated motor vehicle while descending a hill at high speed. The vehicle toppled, pinning Peters underneath. Damien Fraser, a porter also in the vehicle, sustained injuries and was taken to the Linden Hospital complex for treatment. Peters' body was retrieved around 2:30 a.m. this morning and pronounced dead at the Mackenzie Hospital complex. Both victims' bodies await post-mortem examinations as the police continues their investigations into the circumstances of these tragic accidents. Stick around when we return. Guyana prepares to handle monkeypox cases, says Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony, and Guyana Police Force seeks public help to find murder suspect Carlton Newborn Waldron.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Smart Minds Educational Institute, offering preschool, nursery, and primary levels. Finally, a school that is every parent's dream. Located at 69 Crow Street, offering academic excellence, trained qualified teachers, small class sizes, personalized care, and one-to-one attention for your little ones. At Smart Minds, register for full-time or evening classes, daily practice pass exam papers for proficiency at the grade 2, 4, and 6 assessment, and CXE exam preparedness, or join our Becca Phonics reading and writing program. So if your child is for preschool, nursery, or primary level, come to Smart Mind, located at 69 Street, or call 231-4885 or 600-9229 to enroll now.
Hello, my fellow TikToker followers. He is Credit, and today all we will be making Chinese noodles with peppies, chow mein, chicken fritters, and spice cake. For the noodles, all of these will be using peppies, black pepper, cashew,
Chinese sauce, soy sauce, garlic sauce, paprika, Chinese seasoning, chow mein seasoning, five spice, and all-purpose seasoning.
Next, this chicken that we marinated, soak for all you want to know nothing with peppies, green seasoning, miracle seasoning,
Pepper sauce, chicken season, paprika, garlic powder, jerk seasoning, black pepper, onion powder, and ginger powder, and document plantain flour, and then this butter we make with this quick piece powder, and we
boil in high. We serve with Pepe's barbecue sauce. Radica went to the supermarket and she proper buy up enough things. She feels she alone can cook, but she routine even wrong. He shaped like a Guyana map.
Pepe's has a wide range of ingredients available at supermarkets nationwide. Pepe's, we put the pep back into your kitchen.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. The Guyana Police Force is requesting assistance from the public in locating Carlton newborn Waldron, wanted for questioning in connection with a murder that occurred on June 17th in Ling Avenue, West Rhymeville, Georgetown. Waldron's last known address is Lot 100 Robinja Street, South Annandale, East Coast Demerara. The murder victim, 19-year-old Duquan Pyle, died while attempting to intervene in a morning fight involving his sister and other women in the neighborhood. During the altercation, one of the male partners of the women struck Pyle on the head with a piece of wood, leading to his collapse and eventual death. Anyone with information about Carlton newborn Waldron's whereabouts is urged to contact the police on 225-6940 or 225-8196, or you can visit the nearest police station. All information will be treated with strict confidentiality. Investigations are ongoing to locate the suspect and his accomplices. In response to the incident, the house of the alleged killer was set on fire in Ling Avenue, resulting in complete destruction. The victim's body is currently at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation mortuary awaiting a post-mortem examination. In other news, Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony has assured the country's readiness to handle monkeypox cases by having the necessary testing and treatment capabilities. During the sidelines of the Regional Health Officers Conference at the ministry's Brigham head office on Monday, Dr. Frank Anthony said Guyana has the know-how to effectively deal with monkeypox cases. This comes after Trinidad and Tobago reported its first and second cases of monkeypox on July 11th and 12th, involving travelers who recently visited the country. Dr. Anthony stated that Guyana has activated surveillance at airports and borders with Brazil and Suriname to monitor potential cases. The country had previously recorded 2 cases of monkeypox in August of 2022, and the health minister emphasized the importance of established systems for diagnosis and response. The monkeypox symptoms include fever, headaches, backache, muscle aches, swollen lymph nodes, tiredness, and rashes that can resemble pimples or blisters that form on the face, inside the mouth, and on other parts of the body. Don't go away after the break. Drug found to slow Alzheimer's by up to 60% in trial, and Kerry hopes climate cooperation will redefine US-China ties.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Hello, my fellow TikToker followers. He is credit. And today, all we will be making Chinese noodles with Pepe's, chow mein, chicken fritters, and poise cake. For the noodles, all these will be using Pepe's, black pepper, cashew,
Chinese sauce, soy sauce, garlic sauce, paprika, Chinese seasoning, chow mein seasoning, 5 spice, and all-purpose seasoning.
Next, this chicken that we marinated, soak for all you don't know nothing with Pepe's, green seasoning, miracle seasoning,
Pepper sauce, chicken seasoning, paprika, garlic powder, jerk seasoning, black pepper, onion powder, and ginger powder, and document plantain flour, and then this butter we make with this quick piece powder, and we
boil in high. We serve with Pepe's barbecue sauce. Radica went to the supermarket and she proper buy up enough things. She feels she alone can cook, but she routine even wrong. He shaped like a Guyana map.
Pepe's has a wide range of ingredients ingredients available at supermarkets nationwide. Peppies. We put the pep back into your kitchen.
Smart Minds Educational Institute, offering preschool, nursery, and primary levels. Finally, a school that is every parent's dream. Located at 69 Crow Street, offering academic excellence, trained qualified teachers, small class sizes, personalized gear, and one-to-one attention for your little ones. At Smart Minds, register for full-time or evening classes, daily practice pass exam papers for proficiency at the grade 2, 4, and 6 assessment, and CXE exam preparedness. Or join our Beccaphonics reading and writing program. So if your child is for preschool, nursery, or primary level, come to Smart Mind, located at 69 Crow Street, or call 231-4885 or 600-9229 to enroll now.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Welcome back. Now let's take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. In Mexico, security experts are warning that a recent spike in murders, kidnappings, and attacks against public officials may be part of an unprecedented rise in violence as national elections draw near. They say criminal groups may already be exploiting electoral competition as they vie for impunity and power. Al Jazeera's Manuel Rapallo reports.
Mexico is experiencing a sharp rise in violence. Some of the most notable examples in recent weeks include a series of roadside bombs in the state of Jalisco that left 4 police officers dead, and an attack against security forces in the state of Chiapas that led to the kidnapping of 16 police employees. Experts say that while these incidents may be attributed to turf wars between rival gangs, the overall increase in violence could be linked to the gearing up of election season.
It would have to be examined on a case-by-case basis, but effectively, when faced with changing political candidacies, different groups begin moving their chips, be they political or through the use of violence. This is how they gain their space against their rivals, to show how much influence they wield.
Security analysts say the influence criminal groups have over politics is most evident during campaign seasons. And nowhere in the country is this more apparent than in Mexico's hotlands, namely the state of Guerrero. Earlier this month, a large demonstration organized by a drug gang near the resort city of Acapulco led to the abduction of several government officials. Even Mexico's president made reference to the clout criminal groups in the state have over citizens.
Don't be fooled. It is a common practice by some criminal groups to create a social base of support.
Some estimates suggest there are as many as 200 armed criminal groups vying for power in Mexico. Experts say many of these groups are able to thrive because of their ability to make deals with government officials, who, in turn, afford them impunity and even positions of power.
Organized crime, by its nature, needs the state to be able to circulate all of its illegal merchandise, to operate in financial systems as complex as those in countries like Mexico, Colombia, and Brazil.
Despite national elections still a year away, many argue that criminal organizations here have already started taking advantage of early campaigns, with the aim of leveraging state power for illicit purposes. As political campaign season in Mexico draws near, there's concern that violence, which is already at record highs, could become worse as the country struggles with the seemingly impossible task of severing the bonds between criminals and authorities. Manuel Rapallo, Al Jazeera, Mexico City.
Internationally, a new drug has been hailed as a breakthrough after it was found to slow the progression of Alzheimer's disease by 60% if started when the patients are in the earliest stages of the brain-wasting disease. This is according to a new study. Al Jazeera's Steph Vesson reports.
Alzheimer's is one of the fastest growing and most debilitating diseases of our time. It not only causes serious memory loss, but often leads to loss of independence and eventually death. Joe Montminy was diagnosed with Alzheimer's at age 54. His doctor gave him a grim prospect.
That I may not recognize my family in 5 to 7 years. And then she's like, she told me I had a 10-year life expectancy. You know, we were shocked. I've been fortunate that my progression hasn't been as bad as they expected, but we have seen declines, and it's hard. It's a challenging disease.
Scientists, together with pharmaceutical companies, say they develop drugs that can slow down the disease by up to 7 months and possibly longer by removing so-called protein plaques from patients' brains. Still no cure, but it's considered a breakthrough after decades of failing to find medicines that work.
The opposite, actually. I think these drugs give us hope that we can do things. These are the first drugs of a new generation. Okay, they're not the end of the story, the beginning of a new story. Sure, there's safety concerns. There's safety concerns with any drugs. The thing is, we know what those safety concerns are, like you mentioned, this swelling or this bleeding into the brain, which sounds very dramatic, but it's something that we can monitor.
Scientists here at the world's largest gathering of Alzheimer's researchers call it a start of a new era, with Alzheimer no longer being an untreatable disease. But others are more skeptical. Those scientists accuse the pharmaceutical industry of giving patients false hope.
Dutch professor Marcel Olderrickert says the new drugs don't have enough benefits for patients. He urges scientists and the industry to focus more on other causes of Alzheimer's than only protein plaques.
It's clear that these have been more or less neglected, as the pharmaceutical companies are now focusing on something which is close to the market. And they want more and more, and all the companies, when they see that it's more or less giving profit, then they also want a share of the profits.
It's estimated that donanemab will cost around $26,000 per patient per year. The company hopes to receive approval to sell it in the United States somewhere next year. It could take longer before it will be available in the rest of the world. Step Vassen, Al Jazeera, Amsterdam.
And finally, U.S. climate envoy John Kerry says climate cooperation could redefine the tense relationship between Washington and Beijing. He is visiting Beijing as China is struggling to cope with the record high temperatures and widespread flooding. Al Jazeera's Katrina Yu reports.
Ice skating may be a winter sport, but this summer it's a popular option for those wanting to escape soaring temperatures outside. Parts of China are experiencing the most severe heat wave in recent history. The northwestern province of Xinjiang reached a record high of 52.2 degrees Celsius on Sunday. It's raising concerns over agricultural output. Cotton crops are among those affected. In the northeast, hundreds of pigs died after a power outage disrupted a farm's ventilation system. Analysts say the climate emergency is more evident than ever before.
In China, most people agree on the climate change issue. But what's a shame is many don't see the connection between climate and their own behaviors. The drought, though, affects hydropower generation. So when electricity is cut, this impacts industries and the people. Air conditioners cannot even be used. So this is giving people a very real first-hand experience.
In Beijing, U.S. climate envoy John Kerry met Premier Li Qiang and top diplomat Wang Yi. Kerry warned the extreme weather could worsen in coming weeks.
China and the United States are the two most powerful economies in the world. We also happen to be the two largest emitters of greenhouse gases. And so the imperative of our two countries coming together and working and showing the rest of the world how we can cooperate and begin to address this with the urgency it requires is incredible.
Both sides say climate cooperation could provide a fresh start for their troubled relationship, but disagreements over climate financing and coal consumption remain.
This Beijing park is usually crowded at this time of year, but there's no one in sight. People in northern China are doing whatever they can to try to avoid the sweltering heat, while those in the south are being inundated by heavy rains.
In the city of Fuzhou, rescue operations are underway after a typhoon struck on Monday. A red alert for flash flooding has been issued in Guangxi province. Chinese authorities say extreme weather will continue for another 10 days. Public air-conditioned areas have been set up in some cities, and others are using whatever means necessary to stay cool. Katrina Yu, Al Jazeera, Beijing.
This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. That's Safe TV2 headline news for this Tuesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow morning at 6:30 for a rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.